Alright, today on Rebel Life TV, we got a special guest, Pharoah G. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Pharoah G, yeah.
Alright, I just want to make sure.
People always call it Pharrell G, and I don't correct them because I think it's funny.
No,
Yeah, I'm just like whatever.
I figured it could go two different ways.
Yeah.
Today we got a special guest too, special host.
Alright.
How'd you get into this music shit?
My parents played music. They were in bands when I was a kid. They were in this band called the High Beams. They used to play at loopholes back in the day in the original living room. So I was always around bands when I was a kid. Grew up around it, and then I really got into music though. Honestly, I dropped out of high school when I was in 9th grade because I was just like fucking up. And then my mom put me in CCRI, so I was like 16, taking classes with like CCRI kids, like 20-year-olds and stuff. And it was like a GED type program. So it was kind of different, and like I was kind of nervous, but they had a jazz band there with this guy Steve LaJoy. So I started joining the jazz band, learning how to play bass. Really got into jazz, and honestly, I started taking the bass seriously. It really got me into music, and then from jazz, I started getting into like Wu-Tang and hip hop, and that's really how I started getting to making beats through jazz and stuff. Honestly.
And again, back to your name, like, is that your real name or is that your name that you gave yourself?
Oh no, everybody asks about that name. It's kind of funny because it's like, so Pharoah G. I used to have this cat from when I was 16 to when I was 26. It was like a dope ass cat. I had it when it was born, and like basically when I was a kid, my mom always had cats and stuff. She always had the cat that was pregnant and had more kittens and stuff. For years, she was like basically like breeding cats, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we finally got rid of them all. This was like the last cat from all these like litters and litters. You know what I mean? The last bloodline of the Lily cats. That's my last name. But
what was it? Like, what was the name of it?
Oh, so the cat's name, his goofy ass name, it was Gunther, and it was like a feral cat. It was like called like a feral cat, like a wild or untamed cat.
Yeah,
it was like it was an outdoor cat, and it looked like a little tiger. They'd always be killing things, taking things home, and it was like my buddy. Like I would take it to the studio, be making beats with him. You know, it's a cool ass cat. Like it's the only pet I had that I really connected with. But then I had to put it to sleep after 10 years. It had cancer, had a seizure and stuff, put it to sleep, and then after that happened, I was kind of like, that's how I came up with the producer name. Because I was like, I used to call the cat Pharoah G. And then I was like, I'll just take that as my name, like a cool ass name, you know? So
That's dope.
that's how I came up with it. I went through a couple other names before that were really goofy, but one of them was Elephants Gerald. Instead of Elephants Gerald, just Elephants, and then Gerald. Stupid ass name. So I didn't stick with that one.
Nah, Pharoah G.
Yeah.
So where are you from again? Like your family?
I'm from Cranston, but my family's from Providence, and my parents and my grandparents.
Like nationality?
Italian and Armenian.
Oh, okay.
Like on my mom's side, I'm full-blooded Italian. My dad's side, I'm half Italian, half Armenian. And my great-grandfather on my dad's side, he actually came over, escaped from the Armenian genocide. It's like his whole family was killed in the Armenian genocide. A lot of people don't even know what that is, because the U.S. is allies with Turkey. So the U.S. doesn't, like we don't warn about the Armenian genocide in school or anything. That occurred before the Jewish genocide. They killed like 4 million Armenian people. Turkey. Yeah, Turkey did it. But, so, that's my Armenian side, basically. So, like, my grandfather came over, and then the Italian side. But I'm more connected with my Italian side, you know. I grew up around Italian and stuff, so Italian food, all that.
And could you describe Rhode Island for the viewers?
Describe Rhode Island?
Yeah. Providence, Rhode Island.
It's definitely a diverse place. Like, I feel like you have everything here. Like, I always tell people, you have the beaches, you have the city, you got farms, you got the woods, like, you got inner cities, you got bougie cities, you know. And I think it's like they said, the creative capital, definitely a lot of creativity out here. If you just take a walk around Providence one day, like just start on the west end, just walk downtown, walk to the east side, you'll see so many like cool, different shit, so much art, you can run into so many different types of people, they have all types of experiences, you know. So definitely a cool city.
So you mentioned that you played the bass, right? You were getting into jazz.
Yeah.
So are you still playing instruments, and do you know any other instrument?
Yeah, I mainly play bass. I still play to this day, not as much as I should, but because the older you get, it's hard to keep a band together. But I'm definitely trying to put a band together. I have a drummer, jam on the drums. I play with him a lot. I play a little bit of guitar, ukulele too, and a little bit of keyboards. So
That's so cool.
yeah, so that really helps with like music production too.
Mm-hmm. So you utilize your own talents in order to like put them in beats.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
What I like to do too is I did a few videos like this and trying to do more, but trying to do like rappers or singers do collabs. Like I'll play the bass, I'll play the guitar, they just sing, and just do like little live videos, like kind of like Iron Banks.
So at one point, did you have a band?
Yeah, I've had a few bands. One band that I was in, probably the longest lasting band, we're a funk band
Okay.
called Unusual Business. And we played like weddings, backyard parties. We played like old school funk and Motown, like the OJs and like Aretha Franklin and stuff like that. That was fun. I definitely learned a lot from doing that. It helped me with like rhythm and like to learn a lot about older music and stuff and samples. And a lot of the songs we played, I would like listen to hip hop and be like, damn, I know this song. Or my band plays the song that they sampled, you know. So it's kind of cool.
So you've been like, music's been part of your life pretty much the whole time. So like, when did you tap into like the hip hop Rhode Island scene?
For that, honestly, I didn't tap into that till I was 23. I had a band space. My band used to practice on Elmwood, where the boiler room is, and all those studios.
Mm-hmm.
This was when I was 19, 2009.
Shout out to Boiler.
Yeah, shout out to the boiler room. Shout out to Bert. He had a studio over there for a while. But we had a band space over there, and we were just doing like band rehearsals and stuff. But then there was a studio down the hall. My boy, the suspect, allegedly, he had a studio there. I don't know if you've heard of him. He used to be in a producer group called the Entre Producers. But they were pretty big. They had some placements with like Joey Badass, the Underachievers. They were doing some things. So they would always come through the studio and kind of talk to me about beats and check out what I'm doing, and I would go see what they're doing. So that was inspired because I go to their studio, see them making beats, and like I would start like making beats with them, playing melodies on the keyboard. I was like, wow, I could do this too. And then there's another rapper who was there too. This guy Terry Iovino. I don't even heard of him. He used to go by T from POW.
I gotta check him out.
He was a rapper and he had a punk band, so he was inspirational to me because he was really like in both worlds. It was kind of dope because I was like, damn, this guy has a punk band. He's over here rapping. Like I could do both. I don't have to just be in a band, you know. Because I felt like outsider, and I even still do to hip hop. So like at first I was like hesitant to even start making beats or making hip hop because I was like, it's not my lane, you know.
Talk about your shows that you've been like putting on.
Well, honestly, the first show that I ever put on, this is around the same time when I had the band space. This kid passed away. My younger brother's sister's friend. This kid, Colin Tennant, R.I.P. But he passed away, so we put together a memorial show. So I had my band, and they were all into the rap, so they had a couple rappers. So what we did was I had my band learn like a few hip hop covers. Like we learned the beat to "Give Me the Loot" by Biggie, some Wu-Tang songs.
Classics.
Yeah, so we had rehearsals. We had the rappers come through. We played the songs live. It's still on YouTube. You can find it to this day. But
What's the title to it?
it's called Inner Space. You look up Inner Space 7 to find it. That was the name of our group, Inner Space 7. But it's like really rough. But it's like you can kind of see like it was a packed show because like I said, it was a memorial show for this kid. So everybody came together, and it was kind of dope. It was the first time I really put together a show. The first time I really had we had like a live hip hop band. It was cool. So
That's awesome.
and that was really like the first show that I ever put together.
Who's doing shit out there? Because like I've been out the group, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just tapping in now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see you doing the shows. I know that BSO Manny dude is popping.
Yeah, BSO Manny popping. Me and him threw a couple of shows together at this place called The Office in the beginning of the year. And that was lit. And that kind of like sparked what I was doing too and gave me more inspiration to push my shows further.
Yeah.
And they have a couple of shows coming up. Him, King Drastic, and your boy Loco. I don't even know if you've heard of him.
I've been seeing his name around. I'm gonna tap in.
They have a show coming. I'm not sure. I think it's September 1st at Kennedy Park. But it was like a dope show. It's like the Portuguese festival or something.
Yeah.
That was a lit show. So he's been doing his thing. BSO Manny, a lot of Massachusetts. Like I've really tapped in with like Massachusetts artists and promoters. Like I don't know if you heard of Dougie TV.
No.
He's a promoter from Massachusetts, but he's been doing his thing too. He's been doing a lot of shows. There's a lot going on though. There's shows like every night. Like I'll go look on Facebook or Instagram at night and like 2-3 shows at night. I can't even make it to all of them if I wanted to, you know.
Right.
So,
Even on different days, like Wednesdays and shit, right? We were talking about that earlier, like.
yeah, every day there's something lit in the city and province if you really look hard enough. You can find a show, whether it's a rock show, live jazz, hip hop, whatever it is.
We were driving through Providence the other day, and we were down one street, and you could hear all different types of music coming from different places.
Oh yeah.
So Rhode Island is a melting pot for creatives in general, and you can find whatever it is that you're looking for in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you first tapped into the music scene, what year was it?
In Providence,
Yeah.
probably like 2013.
Right. Okay. So I know exactly where the temperature was at that.
Oh, yeah. It was like I jumped in at a good time because I came in. I was like, oh my god, something's going on out
So
here.
much is going on. So, like, what do you think about the music scene right now, where it's at compared to 2013? Like,
I think that it's definitely heating up again. It's a lot of like what it is now is a lot of younger artists, and it's also more accessible for everybody to be a rapper. Like back then, 2013, like everybody couldn't be a rapper.
right.
Nowadays, like anybody with an iPhone can go record, put auto tune on their voice. So I think there's a lot of like new artists who are just learning as they go. So, but definitely a lot of good energy and a lot of potential in the city right now. Like in 2013, we started. I remember I used to live at this spot in Pembroke called the Funky Jungle.
I know Pembroke.
Yeah,
Pembroke's popping.
Pembroke was
Always a
crazy.
party on Pembroke.
Yeah, I moved in there in 2013, and it was a punk rock house. So it was like this house was crazy. It was all tagged up with graffiti. They had skate ramps in the living rooms. Like it was a crazy. And I moved in there, and I'm telling you, if you walk in there, it was
What's that college that's in
what?
PC?
Yeah, it was in the PC
Shout out
area.
PC.
But the thing is, though, because this house is all punk rockers, and every other house was frat kids.
Right.
So the frat kids really didn't fuck with the punk rockers. They thought they were weird. I was kind of like, I was able to blend in with both. So like, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, yeah, definitely okay to be weird, but it was just like a lot of these college kids were like out-of-state college kids from like Connecticut, rich areas, so they're not used to like the Providence art and punk scene and stuff. So like, so it was just funny because we would throw punk rock shows and we'd have college kids come by and like, what the hell are you guys doing? It was crazy. We'd charge people. We had the basement packed. We'd be selling beer in there. People smoking weed, like crazy shit.
So you've been preparing for this your whole life.
Yeah, training, you know what I mean? But when I lived at the house, though, I started throwing hip hop shows there. I was the only one who was into hip hop, and so we had a few artists. We even had Ben Jane there before for an event. We had Nairu, Ty Cooper had performed there, Slitty Wrist. So all these artists
Shout out
performed.
all of them.
Yeah, shout out all of them. They're doing their thing now still too. But they'll all tell you about it, man. They had been to the Funky Jungle, crazy parties, like punk rock parties, like. But
Funky Jungle.
yeah,
Shout out the Funky Jungle.
there you go. It's legendary. And we threw a party there one time. I was going to say called Trap and Grill. And I remember, D from D Spot.
Yeah, shout out D.
Yeah, shout out D. He helped me throw that party, and that was like legendary party. We had the backyard like packed out. We were playing trap music all night, Gucci Mane, all types of stuff, and like it was a different vibe. And it really kind of like that kind of made me like get more into like DJing and stuff too. You know?
My first day on Herbalife was a party that D threw. You know?
Oh wow.
So, like the first thing I recorded was a party that D threw.
So yeah, that's dope, man. He's always been a part of the culture, like very supportive. When I first started making beats, he had an event at the original D Spot in Pawtucket. I remember he invited me, and he had all these big rappers there, and he was like, "Oh, you can come play some beats." And it was like
The biggest artist at the moment.
I think it was like J Deuce,
All tapped in.
D Bones, like I'm pretty sure Cole Cash was there maybe. I don't know, but a bunch of Providence artists were popping at the time, and I went there and played beats, and I don't know if they liked my beats or not, but it was like even just to have that chance at the time, I was like, damn, this is cool.
Yo, fun fact, there's a video of that night, Herbalife TV on the channel. Yeah, crazy. Crazy time.
I gotta check that out.
We patrolling feds, watching niggas go head shopping. This ain't hit. You just mad cause your shorty head bopping. We patrolling feds, watching niggas going head shopping. This ain't hit. You just mad cause your shorty head bopping. So be calling my phone when I'm in the zone. I just know you little niggas need to catch up. Cause I got it. And that's when you messed up. Cause I'm popping again. Roll down your baby, your facts up. I think about all the dead times. She told me I'm a shame. I beat the pussy as she walk on my mind. We gon' make a movie just a reminder. I'm about to stay the best, but Lizzie bustin' very good. I put more on any nigga tryna dirty me. Mama told me, boy, you really started wearing me. And you ain't never been through poppin', you ain't heard it. drink. Best Buy, moving square like it's HD. Back up and put the work in the AC. Tryna take my spot, you fuck niggas, baby, rap gang. This whole pull up gang.
And they ain't never motherfucking throwaway. I heard them niggas that was talking shit, they want my life. But when we see them, we just sick them. On sight. Niggas wanna go to war, we need to feel the price. See them somewhere else.
Yeah.
I was even telling you earlier, man. A lot of the artists that I found out about when I first started getting in the scene was from Rebel Life. Because I would I would go to YouTube and look up Providence rappers, and it would be Rebel Life interviews. So.
And that's how I got into it. Like I told you earlier, just searching for Rhode Island music, and at the time, shit was like dead. You know, there was nobody broadcasting it. You know, and now everybody's doing it. It's a dope thing to see. You know what I'm saying?
And we do have artists like who are actually popular from Rhode Island right now. Like you heard of Jaleel.
Yeah, Jaleel, shout out to
Yeah, Jaleel. Even obviously D Gomes doing his thing, and his artist J Links.
Shout out D Gomes always. You know, I go way back with him too. You know, this revelation. Who's that girl too? Henny.
Mm-hmm.
Henny, that you know Henny.
Pour Some Henny, is that her name?
Yeah, pour some Henny.
Yeah, I've heard of her too.
Fire. I like her music.
She's fire. Then you have this kid Jake, JVKE from Warwick. I don't even heard of him, but he's crazy because he had this hit song called Golden Hour, and I don't know how he did it through TikTok promotion and shit, but he ended up getting on stage and performing his song with Alicia Keys too. So he's from Rhode Island too.
That's
So
awesome.
it's dope. It's like if you look it up, there's a lot of people from Rhode Island who are like doing their thing. You know. That's cool.
So you have it on your shirt. I was gonna ask you about it. So I've been seeing on social media 222 a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So can you dive into that? What is 222? What does that mean to you?
For me, well, it's based off my birthday, February 22nd. I just thought it was a cool number to use because I'm not really too big into like numerology and angel numbers, but it basically means like you're in the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And I always find myself like, not so much anymore because I'm getting older, but in my younger days, I would always find myself like partying and then leaving the club, and then like by the time you leave, because Rhode Island, obviously the bar's closed at 2. By the time you leave the bar and like settle in somewhere else, it's about 2:20, 2:22. So I'd always be lit and like catch that time on the clock, 2:22.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then when I was coming up with my studio, I was trying to come up with a name, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call it 222. I actually wanted to call it 222 Records, but I looked it up, and that dude Adam Levine from fucking I don't know what band he's in. Maroon 5, yeah. So he has a record label called 222 Records. So I was like, damn man, I can't use that. So I was thinking about the 222 AM thing, and I was like, oh, I'll call it 222 AM Co. So it's kind of like
It's dope. It's a dope name, dope branding.
so I actually made the shirt myself too. So I'm trying to figure out how to make them better, but this is the prototype right here. So
Shit, man, I know how to make that, man.
oh yeah, I'll tap into you.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah.
So what is your like goal with 222?
So when I first started, it was the studio, and I was just thinking about, I wasn't thinking too far ahead, so I had the studio. And then this year, like I said, I really started doing the events, a lot of my friends. So this kind of, for me, what I wanted to go into is, I wanted it to be a label. Like I'm trying to produce songs for artists and release songs with artists. Like not so much looking to sign artists, but I'm looking to be more of like, kind of like some DJ Khaled shit, where like I do collabs with artists and release songs together.
I've been hearing the word curator a lot.
Yeah, kind of like a curator. Like I'll make beats, I'll invite different artists, maybe get one artist to do the hook, one artist to jump on the verse, things like that.
That's dope.
Or just like get artists in. I work with a lot of artists who even make beats or are interested in making beats, so I'll get them on the keyboard, we'll make some beats together.
I think collaborative art is the best type of art, you know, especially in the town and the state that we're from, being the creative capital. You know, there's so many talented artists, so many talented musicians, producers, engineers. So like coming together and creating something that's dope.
That's true. It all depends on the vibe in the studio too, because if everybody's in the studio having a good time and tapped in, it's like such a dope vibe. It's like everything comes out so easy, and like it's really about working with people too. Because like I'll be in the studio by myself, and I'll be like frustrated sometimes. But then if I have one or two people around with me, and we're all on the same vibe, kind of influencing each other, everything. It's all about collaboration. Everything comes a lot easier that way too. So
You were at one point when I met you. I think I don't know. I think it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But when I met you, you were signed to Time Machine. So what was that experience like? Are you still signed with them, or?
I'm not signed with them, but I'm still cool. I'm affiliated with them. Jane London, that's my homie, and Jalen London, his daughter's killing with photography.
That's awesome.
His son, Jay London, he's a DJ. He's like he's a young. I think it's 8 or 10. I'm not sure how old he was. Maybe 12, but he's a young DJ. So that's still my homie. You know, we still talk almost every week. And like I said, my studio is inside the Time Machine building, so we're still cool.
Shout out James. I haven't heard from him in a minute.
Yeah, man, that dude.
He's still around?
Yeah, he's still around. He's always around. Like that dude kind of like saved me at first in 2018 because I had like just gotten out of this crazy ass relationship and I was like trying to get back into music again. That's when I had first met you too in 2018, and I was kind of like living in Cranston. I didn't have a studio. I didn't have a car or anything. So he had the studio. And he hooked me up. He was like, hooked me up with a YMCA membership and the keys to the studio. And he was like, "Yo, go crazy, man! Make some shit happen." And I remember it was like an empty room, so like we brought equipment in there. We did a couple events in there. You remember too? We're all like, there's times we had like 6, 7 people crashing in the studio together. We were just like, wake up and make beats in the morning. Like it was all like we were literally living in the studio during that time. I would wake up, go to the YMCA across the street, take a shower, go back to the studio, make beats. Like I was there all day, every day. Like it was crazy.
Music.
And we were working with the artist Lynx, remember him?
Yep.
And Wolf, dope ass producer too. But I missed that kid too. There were some good artists back then that we were working with. That was like the roots of what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
That year, 2018, was crazy because, like I said, we opened up that studio. I really started. That was when I first started engineering. What?
DJ or Rico?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That year was crazy because, like, I went from doing nothing in the beginning of the year to we opened up the studio, and then all of a sudden I started making beats, working with artists. We released a song with Cold Cash, song Today.
Oh, yeah.
And then I ended up getting an opportunity on Twitter.
What was the name of that song?
Today.
Today.
Like Cold Cash, Zero God Debt.
That was a dope song.
I still bump that events and stuff to it. But I was saying that later that year is crazy because I was on Twitter. This artist Rico Nasty, she posted she needed a DJ for a Providence gig. I was already a fan of her, so I was like, "Yo, I'll jump on that." I hit her up, and you remember I ended up getting it. We all went there together. Like it was crazy. We DJ'd at Brown University. Like we were backstage. We met Drum too. I'm not gonna tell the story what happened with Drum, but it was not a pleasant experience with him. But it was all great.
Please tell.
Want to tell it? But no, it's cool. I met Rico Nasty. I got paid $200 to DJ for like 15 minutes. And she was really cool. And I had even sent her a few beats. She was like, "Oh, I fuck with your beats." But we were in communication. Right after that, she got signed and blew way up. Came out with a song with Doja Cat. And then she was like unreachable. So it was, but it was an inspirational experience though too, nonetheless, just to be able to do that with my friends. Like,
you know, some regular Rhode Island shit, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yo, so much crazy Rhode Island shit.
Great. Even other artists tell me stories about just crazy shit that's happened with like.
What's your craziest Rhode Island story?
Oh man.
I know you're tapped in.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, what story can I tell without incriminating anybody or?
No, I'm not even talking about people. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
You have Rhode Island fact or something.
Oh, Rhode Island fact. Oh, I thought you were something I heard through.
Like, some Rhode Island shit.
I don't know. I think the mafia history of Rhode Island is pretty crazy. You know,
Right.
it's like you go to Fed Hill and there's still remnants of like the mafia history. Like there's like the board. It says Federal Hill members and it has the names of all these mobsters. I'm like, Hitman. It's kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
I'm interested in that. You know,
Right. It's crazy to read about, you know, like guys that got killed and looking at the restaurant.
yeah, you know what I mean.
Where it's
They're
at
like,
today, like,
There's a lot of history.
yeah.
what I think is crazy, I always say this too, is like, because like I said, I'm Italian, so I'm always around older Italian guys, and they're always like so critical of younger kids, like, "Oh, these young kids in the gangs," and I'm like, you know, who did they learn it from? They learned it from watching The Godfather and all these gangster movies, and they learned it from like all these old school gangsters in Rhode Island. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like they set the precedent for what's going on.
Do you got like a message to the viewers, last words, you know what I'm saying? Just anything you want to throw out there, shout outs, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, well, just want to shout out a couple of shows we're doing. So we got a few shows this Friday with Slitty Wrists and Peter Parker. We have a show at the Met. It's gonna be this Friday. It's gonna be a dope show. We got a lot of artists. There's like over 25 artists in that show. and it's gonna be just lit. And we got a show at the end of the month with Cold Coda and 505 Productions. It's gonna be at FET actually. We're bringing out that's gonna be Saturday, August 31st. Bringing out some Boston artists. This guy Mort Beasy, Exit Fame. I haven't heard of them, but some big artists from Boston. So that'll be a dope show too.
Yeah, but send them flyers my way, you know.
Yeah.
If I can make it, I'll pop out.
There's been, like I said, just been so many new artists I've been meeting lately. It's crazy, like all the time. So.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
On my Instagram, FERALG222 is probably the best way to find me or see what I'm doing. You know, mostly active on there. And I got the studio in Pawtucket, so I do recording, make beats. If everyone wants to tap in or need beats, recording, events. I'm always trying to put artists on events, so if any new artists want to get on an event, they can always hit me up. You know, I'm always trying to give people a chance for that too. So and overall, I'm always down to collab with creative people. We need to get more like-minded people together on the same page. You know.
Go to local, buy local.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say too is I think the one thing Rhode Island needs is more unity between promoters, artists, whatever. Like, because so many people have problems or beef with each other. Or, like, we're such a small city. You walk for 5 minutes, you're in like the other side of the city. So I think if everybody who's doing what they do works together more, it would be more results for Rhode Island. Because I look at Boston and like I feel like Boston seems more united than ever right now with what they're doing with like the bigger artists and then the local artists working together. So it's definitely what we need in Rhode Island.
Shit, man. Take notes, man.
Yeah.
Life TV signing out. FRG.
Appreciate you guys.
Marissa.